what's going on out there, everybody? I want to thank you all for swinging by the channel to check out a video. It's greatly appreciated. You guys are all fantastic. Today we're talking about the new horror thriller called Ready or Not, directed by Matt Bettinelli-Olpin and Tyler Gillett, with Samara Weaving in the lead role as Grace. The story in this one revolves around a bride that on her wedding night stays over with her filthy rich in-laws at their lavish estate, but this is going to be far from the common sleepover for this newlywed. The family fortune has been built on generations of selling games to the world, and on this night they're going to take part in a game that's going to be the most terrifying one of this young woman's life. Now, I'll admit, despite the trailers looking like a good time, I just didn't have the highest expectations for this movie. Honestly, I feared it would be kind of just a routine horror romp with some blood, some killing, maybe a couple laughs, and I'm sure the usual grim backdrops and the procedural musical scoring and lighting in an attempt to create some tension and probably a collection of jump scares as well. I wouldn't consider myself a pessimist, but as a fan of the genre, I just tampered my excitement as to not be let down. I didn't want to go into a movie hoping for something unique only to get a mashup of genre tropes and flat character types that just end up getting picked off one by one. However, I always go into a movie wanting to have a good time, and I kept an open mind with this one, which was a good luck for me this time around, because I had such a good time with this movie. It was so energetic. It really knew exactly what it was. It knew what it wanted to be. It also showed confidence in its story on its own without trying to overforce moods or tones, which really did allow it to play out with a natural progression despite the massive levels of eccentricity and quirkiness. I mean, this is a plot that's a little bit on the absurd side, or a lot of bit on the absurd side, but there's foundation to it. There's plenty of motivational layering as well that make watching it surprisingly captivating and even slightly unpredictable in some areas. At first glance, they just seem like normal, self-indulgent rich people, but this is a wildly bizarre family, and with that comes a fun, fresh appeal to just the simplistic plotline of a singular character that's trying to survive a group of attackers for the night that we've seen done before. The structure here incorporates a variety of different character types that really does build a fun mix to the personalities, which in turn does capture different emotional tones from everybody as the story advances. There's things to like and dislike about each of the family members that was surprisingly intriguing, and I also thought this ensemble of characters allowed for a variety to the comical swings, and with some added nicely crafted writing, the humor was honestly a great compliment to the more grim, darker moments in this film. I love the fact that this movie didn't try to drop in just clearly placed jokes for simple attempts at laughs, but instead there was crazy situations, blunt violence and visuals, story misdirection, and just animated reactions from the characters that really landed genuine amusement throughout this movie. The film delivers equal amounts of suspense and violence, but it really cuts it nicely with a sense of humor that never felt overly out of place, which is not an easy thing to accomplish. I think the combination really worked for me. It had my attention locked in for the entirety, and with a modest runtime, it doesn't wear out its welcome. It provides just enough exposition, but also leaves enough for the imagination, which is something I enjoyed and simply wasn't expecting when going into this film. There is no doubt that the performances were what made this movie the fun time it was. The writing was very capable without question, but the cast is what elevated it with their charisma behind the lead of Samara Weaving, who was just really the heart of this film. She brought a ton of emotion to the role, as well as a strong comedic timing that made her very much just feel like a common, relatable person in today's world. I thought her responses and reactions felt, for the most part, pretty genuine, which certainly grounded the over-the-top story themes, in my opinion. I think you just can't help but connect to this character through her performance, which just makes you naturally want to see the story out with her. As for the members of the Ladomas family, I thought they were all perfectly casted and just nice for their roles. Andie MacDowell was extremely capable and layered as this mother with a soft side but very much a callous side as well. Adam Brody was great as this conflicted member of the family that kind of goes along with but certainly doesn't agree with all the family traditions. And then you have the patriarch of them all, played excellently by Henry Czerny, who was the spotlight. He clearly embraced this role, as everybody did. I thought the energy and charm from everyone just elevates all the characters nicely to kind of fit the tone of the story perfectly, and I really enjoyed getting to know all of them and their different layers of controlled insanity. From a technical aspect, this was a polished film with strong visual appeal. The cinematography and the direction complement one another nicely to really create both a warm and inviting, but also a very ominous honest backdrop for the story that really succeeds in kind of building its own atmosphere despite having a lot of similarities to other movies with singular locations. And I'll admit this isn't a perfect film, but it's a very capable one that knew its intent and it never veered off its course. It's ridiculous in all the ways you want with just enough seriousness between everything to connect it all. So overall, I'm going to give Ready or Not 85% on the entertainment meter. It was a great time. I would have liked maybe a little bit more killing in the second act, and some added intensity in certain areas could have gone a long way as well. There are some recycled themes in the film that could have been changed up as well to kind of pull the progression from the slight formulaic structure that it has, but regardless, I thought it all worked together nicely to create a solid horror thriller that is worth checking out if you're interested. Now for today's My Silver Screen recommendations, I'm going to be selecting Your Next from 2011, as well as the thriller Eden Lake from 2008, and finally 2016's Hush, all some great horror thrillers with some similar tropes and themes to this one. Thank you so much for watching this video, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, drop it a thumbs up, leave a comment below. I'd love to talk movies with you guys. Share it with your friends, and without question, hit that subscribe button and the notification bell so you can never miss a video. Here are some links to some recent reviews just in case you missed them. All my social media links and the link to our official website are down in the description below, and I'll catch you next time.